morning. Today is Vlogmas day 17. So I want to take the time to chat with you guys and reflect on my experience of the most recent half marathon that I did. So if you've been following me, you know that I just did one yesterday. It didn't quite go as I had hoped. This is the third half marathon, at least the third official one that I've done. I've done plenty of half marathons that weren't tied to a race where I was just running to run and just tracked my runs in this app called Endomondo that I use. But I have done 3 official ones where I have paid the money to participate in a race. So anyway, I want to share with you guys 5 pros and 5 cons. So this is some of the reflections that I have had regarding my most recent run. So let's get started. So starting with the positive things about the most recent race that I did, the first thing that I was pleased about was my level of strength. So if you've been following me, you know that my workouts have been a little iffy lately just because there's been a lot of life events happening that has prevented me from doing a full run or having certain levels of, endurance under my belt. So I'm already in good shape. I ran a half marathon in Malibu a month ago, and I ran the whole thing, and I've been running fairly consistency afterward, except for when my hip injury re-triggered and when when I had to possibly evacuate when there was a lot of fires that broke out near where I live. So I was impressed with my strength level, considering that I did take a week off of running before the race and I was still able to feel okay and feel like I could do it. A second thing is my determination that when I did have to start walking, I didn't just ask for the medics to come get me and haul me off. I was determined to still walk across that finish line, even though it feels a little embarrassing to walk across the finish line when you're supposed to run. But at that point, I didn't care. I was really proud of myself that despite the odds of what was going on, I had a lot of things against me that day, I still was able to complete the race and I walked across the finish line. Not the most glorious finish, but the point is I finished. The third thing is my nutrition. I'm really healthy and with the exception of having bronchitis right now, I'm really healthy and I take a lot of thought and preparation what I put in my body. Some people might think it's too much, with how much I plan, but as an athlete, I want to feel my body in the best way possible. That way I can perform to my absolute best. And I feel like I have a good system going that I know what really works for me. I know how to repair my body really quickly. I know what types of food make me perform best on a run or what will give me enough energy to do some weight training. So I feel like I have a good system down and that makes me really happy to do. The fourth thing, or going back a little bit more on nutrition before we go to the fourth thing, is that having a decent balance of nutrition or having a good balance, I feel like it really properly, for the long haul, did fuel me. But I will talk a little bit later about one thing that I wish I hadn't ate before the race. But we'll get to that when we talk about the negatives of it. So number 4 is, excuse me, is knowing when to stop. I will push through as much as I possibly can. I'm determined to finish. I'm determined to complete the tasks that I have given myself to do. And for me, it's kind of a humbling and a pride thing, and it's difficult to be real with yourself and say, I have to stop. If I don't stop now, I might get injured more. So I think what was really a positive for me is knowing that I had to stop and it was okay to walk and I had to be okay with that. And knowing that I wasn't going to PR, I wasn't going to have a great race time, but I was still going to finish, but I knew when to take it easy. That was a positive for me. And the fifth thing is just my overall fitness level. I feel like even if I miss training for a couple weeks, I still have such a high level of endurance within me just because of my nutrition and my general workout routine that a 13-mile run is practically nothing to me. It's easy for me to do, and it's enjoyable. And I feel really proud of myself for being able to accomplish that, because not everybody can do that. And at one point, I most certainly could not do that, let alone do a mile. The fact that I can do a half marathon with ease now it's really exciting and something to feel proud about. So those are the things that I've reflected on that I feel good about from this last race. So now let's talk about the 5 cons or negatives of the race, or things I wish would have gone differently. So the first one in this category is sleep. I did not sleep at all the night before. And that's because I was sick. And you know when you, well, there's an example there. You know when you're sick and you have this really bad cough, and every time you just get to sleep, you start coughing and you wake yourself up. So that was pretty much my entire night. I would start to fall asleep and then I'd start coughing. It wasn't just like a 1 or 2, it was like a long, multiple cough incident. And it just kept me up. And by the time it was like 4 in the morning, I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to sleep. Let me just, shower and, start getting ready and think about what I'm going to eat. Because usually, I'll break my fast because I have to give myself some extra fuel in the morning. But, that was a real negative, to not get a good night's sleep. I didn't feel at my absolute best. I still felt okay, and that's probably the caffeine that was in my system. But I could have done a lot better had I had enough sleep. So the second thing is the eating. So overall nutrition, awesome. I did talk about that in my positives, but a negative for me was just eating a couple things that probably weren't the best choices. The night before, I did have a couple pieces of this chocolate. It's vegan and gluten-free, and it was like this mint chocolate, and it looked really good. And it was either 2 or 3 little pieces of it, which isn't much. It's like 120 calories. And I figured, well, I'm running, I'm going to burn it off. Hey, why not? But because I had not eaten it before, that may not have been the best choice, because it kind of upset my stomach a little bit. In the morning usually I'll just have my vitamins and a potassium supplement and maybe some fruit and vegetables and a bar, like a Lara bar, and I have those Cliff Shot blocks that I take with me on my long runs. But I decided to eat a burrito. It was a gluten-free vegan burrito, one of my favorites, but I realized it was more heavy on the protein side than it was on the carb side. So that was a mistake, because it definitely made me not feel my best during that run, and I wish that was something I didn't eat. But I've learned my lesson with that, and that's something I'll never have before a long run again. Maybe afterward, but never before. And also, because I was sick, I had pretty much no appetite, and I just wanted to get to a doctor to find out what was wrong with me and get the bronchitis confirmed so I could get on antibiotics. I didn't have anything to eat afterward. I was just not hungry at all, and I really should have refilled my body right away, but because I wasn't hungry, it was the last thing on my mind. And it wasn't until probably about 6 o'clock that night that I finally had some food. We ordered Thai food, which is one of our favorites, and I couldn't eat much. And I had 3 pieces of the fried tofu that you can dip in the sweet sauce, and I couldn't eat anymore. My throat hurt so bad. I was tired. I just wanted to sleep. And I did end up sleeping for 16 hours after the fact. But I hardly ate, so I felt a little weird because I hadn't properly refilled my body after the run, because I wasn't hungry and I didn't feel good and I just wanted to sleep. So that's kind of a delicate balance there. You have to figure out what's right for you. And I think in the moment I was doing what was right for me, but it would have been nice to be able to immediately refill quicker. The fourth thing is running with the injury. I think it's manageable. Like today, like it's okay. Like it's not really bothering me as it did after my first half marathon that I did most recently back in November. But having an injury during the run definitely kind of throws you for a loop because you're not able to compete, or you're not able to run at your best or compete at your best if that's what you're after. And it definitely, I feel like it did slow me down, and then because I'm having to walk like 5 miles, that's a long ways to walk. And it's discouraging in a way when you see all the different pacing groups pass you up, especially the one where you thought you were going to PR and then you see them pass you. But I went into this knowing that I may not even be able to do it, and I may not even be able to do all of it, and that I might have to drop out. But just the fact that I still did it made me proud of myself. But being injured and maybe not getting it to heal as much as it could have been is definitely a downside. And I think the last one is just not getting enough runs in general. I still felt my endurance and fitness level was fine, but I can imagine how much better I would have done if I was able to get consistently run 3 days a week like I normally was doing before my injury. And I could only imagine how much better my runs would be. And that would be really exciting to see, that maybe my pace would go down, maybe I would PR more often instead of kind of sticking around the same numbers. So that's something that I definitely have thought about a lot, and hopefully after, I'm going to take a little bit of time off so I can heal from this run, and then I can get back into it. Hopefully, the negative things will dissipate because I'll get well and I'll be able to be sleeping regularly again, my injury will go away, and I'll be able to continue and maintain my endurance. So that's kind of my thought process on everything, and I think overall there were a lot of positives. Of course, it's not my best, it's my worst race I've ever done, but we're all going to have our bad days, and I think it's okay that happens, and I think it's a very humbling experience, especially when you think you're going to, achieve A, but you end up achieving B. So it's just all how you handle the situation. And, when I look back at it, I ran this half marathon injured with a hip issue and sleep deprived because I didn't sleep at all with bronchitis. So not the best combination, but I still did it. And I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. I'm not telling you to go do this. Trust me, please don't do it. But I'm just proud that I still did it. So that's where I'm at. And I have a lot to think about and revising my training plan. And I'm going to give myself a few days to heal and, see where everything gets to be going with my body. And I'm looking forward to getting back out there and training, and I'm determined to still run that marathon in February. So I need to not overdo it, but also have a realistic training plan, because I don't think I'm at the endurance level to be able to run a marathon. I could probably do maybe 16 miles, I would think, but I still need to be able to build up a little bit more. So more to come on that in future videos if you guys are interested. And that's where I'm at for now. So let me know your thoughts. Have you ever had a race that you were training for and it just didn't go as planned? Did you still run it? And what do you wish you could have done differently? Any advice you guys have for me on this? Definitely, I know I am not the most experienced runner. There are so many more people out there who have done way more races than I have. And I still feel like I'm a beginner at all of this. I really am. I've only run 3 official half marathons, and I've been a runner for almost 8 years now. So yeah, I still have a lot to learn. I'm pretty new at all this, and people have been doing this their whole lives. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it, and thanks for hanging out with me while I kind of reflected and chatted about my experience doing the latest half marathon. So if you guys can come to San Diego next year, I highly recommend checking this one out. It's the Holiday Half Marathon, and it's really cool. You run down this path that's mostly downhill. There are some uphills, but you lose more altitude than you gain, and or you lose more elevation than you gain, and you end up at the Pacific Ocean. So what better way to finish a race than hanging out the beach? So anyway, that's all I have for today for you guys. A little sit down chat video, and I hope you guys are all doing well. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like these types of videos. Turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss any future posts from me, and go ahead and subscribe so we can hang out more together. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Bye guys, take care.